Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour, brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Enter as friends, leave as family. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Thank you, Zach Dresch. Welcome to fireworks season. Oh, yes, the smell of smoke bombs wafting through the air, along with the wonderful aroma of grilling. Ah, yes, it already began on Monday in our neighborhood. Hey, incredible first-time guests on this week's show. Later in the show, we chat with voice actor Ralph Duke. His description of his voice being from grit to velvet is spot on. In a few minutes, musician Jeff Paul talks about his classical piano upbringing that now provides the jazz scene tremendous keys. He also is the principal oboist in the South Dakota Syphony Orchestra. Great insights from both guests headed your way. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
Doesn't matter what you toast with, as we all have different tastes and different times of the day that we listen, so as per usual, I'm having my Jasper Newton, a Jack Daniels Diet Coke with a lime. Now, you might be drinking water. Milk, coffee, tea, beer, wine, champagne, they all come in different styles of glassware, don't they? But whatever your beverage of choice is, lift it high and toast to freedom. Thank you, Founding Fathers, for your forward thinking in writing the Declaration of Independence. If you've never taken a look at it, it truly is an amazing document, well worth the read. It'll take you a little time, but it is well worth it. Shortly after the signing, then, John Adams wrote his wife, predicted celebrations of the date in the future would include parades, fireworks, etc. Now, I don't know if the later-to-become president had a grill, but in learning about that time in our nation's history, there was plenty of ale to be had. Now, they had disagreements to the point of shouting, but they could still be civil. Civility, regrettably, a missing component in our current government. That's another topic for another day. But for your celebrations this 4th of July, please take a moment to consider the importance of the day, in addition to it being a day off from work. Cheers to freedom and independence. The Weekend Eve Toast is brought to you by Chasers, West 12th and Ellis Road. Stop in for great food, great beverages, and fun times. Hey, join us Monday nights at 7 for Dave Holly Hour Trivia. Now, Chasers is going to be closed Friday the 4th through Sunday the 6th, but Monday the 7th, that's when they open back up. 7 p.m. on 7/7. We'll have a little fun with that theme, but we're also going to throw in red, white, and blue. So come join in the fun. Honorable mention. What made Dave laugh, chuckle, chortle, downright slap my knee silly, or even shed happy tears of joy recently? Well, I am very fortunate that besides the unpaid staff that have been a great asset in these first 5+ years, I now have a part-time assistant that is helping me get caught up on projects. Lillian Tordoff is going to be a junior this fall at Harrisburg High School. She's involved in the arts and is especially adept at making creative videos. You'll be seeing some of her skills while helping promote this show, as well as all other Big D entertainment events. Coming up later in the hour, voice actor Ralph Duke In just a few minutes, musician Jeff Paul. It's all ahead on the Dave Holly Hour.
Are you an artist? Need some funding to further your art? There's a great opportunity for you through a Sioux Falls Arts Council program. The Artist Microgrant program gives away several microgrants to local artists, no matter what art discipline you're in. Unlike more traditional grants, a microgrant is very easy to apply for. Go to artssiouxfalls.org. If you haven't done so yet, create a listing on the Artist Directory, which is beneficial in its own way. Then go to the Artist Microgrants page and apply online. The process is simple. Find out more about the Sioux Falls Arts Council as well online at artssiouxfalls.org.
Serendipity Studio, where creativity comes to life. Celebrate the arts at their First Friday featured artists event this Friday, 5 to 8. Come meet the talented creators behind their work, explore fresh exhibits, and enjoy an evening filled with inspiration and connection. Whether you're browsing or buying, it's an experience you won't want to miss. Serendipity Studios, downtown in the historic Shriver Square building. Trio Jazz Club is an intimate music venue in the heart of Sioux Falls. It's family-owned and family-run. Ricardo and Mary Beth and the entire staff provide the art of hospitality, while the best local and regional musicians provide the smooth sounds. It's a great vibe with live music Tuesday through Saturday nights. The chefs and mixologists offer an amazing menu and beer and wine lists. Cocktails as smooth as the jazz. Join the club, Trio Jazz Club, across from the Washington Pavilion. Enter as friends, leave as family.
The Dave Holly Hour, like eavesdropping on a great conversation between two very interesting people.
Welcome back, everyone. As always, it is a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. You know, one of the other things I always like is getting a first-time guest. Been wanting to have this first-time guest for a long time. We finally get it to work out. And here is, well, I don't even know where to start the resume on you.
I can leave that behind.
Okay, we can just say musician,
Yeah.
Jeff Paul. How are you?
I'm doing good. Happy Thursday.
And you as well. And 4th of July coming up tomorrow, big weekend for a lot of people. We'll talk all about it too. But you are with the South Dakota Syphony Orchestra.
Yes.
Principal, correct?
Yep.
Principal oboist?
Principal oboist.
And that is the correct word for somebody that plays the oboe? Oboist?
That's the word.
That's the word. All right.
At least that's the one I'm familiar with.
Okay.
A lot of people probably have less nice versions of that. But.
And then you play keys for a lot of different groups around town. Most notably, of course, just like everyone else, you have a trio.
Yes.
Yes, you have a trio. And then you play with a lot of other trios. And then you play with a quintet. The list just goes on and on for you.
Yeah, I mean, I just love to saturate myself with music and just about any flavor, any language.
Yeah, true. And that's what's great about music.
Yeah.
People always will ask, especially when they find out I've been in radio or was in radio for 25 years, what's your favorite music? I never wavered my answer. Good.
Good. Yeah, that's a good answer.
If it's good,
yeah,
I'll listen to it. I like it.
Yep.
Some are better than others, in my opinion, of course, but still, as long as it's good music, makes you think a little bit, makes you get into a groove.
For me, it always, it depends on the context.
Yeah.
Like, where am I? What am I doing?
Exactly.
Am I outside for a festival? Am I indoors? Is it, is it New Year's Day? Are we in the dead of winter? Yeah.
How do we get these people to get off their asses?
Mm-hmm.
What came first? Piano?
Piano was first. Yeah, I started lessons when I was 4 years old. And
Wow.
Got pretty serious about it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
My dad would practice with me a lot of times. I would have lessons and he would sit on the bench with me every night for years. And so I became a pretty serious classical pianist. I played competitions and whatnot, and occasionally, I got some really great opportunities to play concertos with a few orchestras on piano in my youth orchestra when I was younger, and then I soloed with the Pepperdine University Orchestra at the end of my high school career too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an early age to be doing that.
Yeah.
So oboe started when?
Oboe started when I was in 4th grade, probably about 10 years old. And all my friends were sort of choosing their band instruments at that point. And my band director, who was absolutely just wonderful and supportive, Carol Alexander, I remember her saying, well, we don't usually allow students to start on the oboe. Like, you usually got to have a few years of clarinet or flute or saxophone or something like that. But you can already read music, and you already play piano, and you seem like the kind of kid who's just nerdy enough to really embrace that. And I could probably work on what we would consider a steep learning curve at first of the oboe, while the other kids were still learning how to read music.
Right.
So she championed that. She supported that. And there it was.
What made you think of the oboe?
I heard the Nutcracker ballet when I was
classic.
younger. And I loved the Arabian dance. And there's this kind of iconic solo. It's so, in the grand scheme of things, as I look back, it's so short. It's just a few measures long, with some really beautiful, sustained, kind of haunting, melancholy tones that sound more or less Arabic. And since my heritage is kind of based at least half in Lebanon, I felt well, this might be the instrument for me. Yeah.
I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
And then any other instruments besides the keys and oboe?
So I went in reverse order. I took up saxophone later when I went into high school, and I needed a marching band instrument.
Oh, true.
And my band director there, this is in Thousand Oaks, California, Bill Haney, and he put the saxophone in my hands and he said, look, it's really nothing more than like a controlled honk. And after having played the oboe already for several years, he wasn't wrong. It felt like a toy, honestly, in my hands. And it got me through marching band through high school. And I really embraced it in jazz band as well. And started really really loving those kinds of genres and styles as I got more and more exposed.
So this phrase of a controlled honk, do you relay that to Hannigan and anybody else that plays that?
Like I'll tell them all. We have a good laugh about it. I never pursued it to the level that they play, but I do still play regularly on the saxophone. And there's a band out in Okoboji, the Jazzed Up band, and we're in our 12th year this summer, and I've been in that section the whole time.
You play on Tuesday nights?
Yeah, Tuesday nights.
Yeah, I thought so. I need to get down there for one of those sometime.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
really a lot of fun.
You playing outside or in the roof?
It's in the Roof Garden Inn at Arnold's Park. Yep.
Oh, classic place.
Yeah.
It's got to feel fun to play in a joint like that, doesn't it?
It is. It's a great time. It's a really good hang. And it's
And think of the history and everybody that's played there. And
so many people.
It's incredible when you take a look at it, actually. Like, really? Wow. They got them here,
Yeah, it's cool.
But that band is phenomenal. And it's just so
a good band.
Yeah. It's great to see so many jazz opportunities now. And then, of course, with the Jazz Jam that Fellowship Jazz Center has first Wednesday of the month at Trio. I love that because jazz is my favorite, first of all, and it's what I was most proficient at in high school. And so I love seeing the opportunity for these high schoolers to not just perform in their jazz band, and a couple of times a year, the parents and grandma and grandpa and everybody come in, and it's good for them to see what a regular crowd might be like, and also the opportunity to play with the pros then.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, wow, that would have been so cool,
thing. It's a wonderful thing. I'm so glad Dan Heyer is really like driving that force.
Yeah, he and Jimmy Spears.
And Jimmy.
Yep. a couple of great guys to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great musicians and then great coordinators.
Yeah.
So it's working out well so far.
And it takes that kind of combination.
Yeah, it does.
And both of them just have that. It's wonderful.
They do.
Yeah.
It's a great teamwork on that. So how many groups have you ever figured it out that you have played with?
No, I haven't counted, but that's not uncommon for anyone who's got some kind of like freelance hustle. I'm really grateful that I'm full time with the South Dakota Symphony, but that also I have time and flexibility to also freelance.
Yeah.
But anyone who does that kind of work will tell you there's no way they could keep track of all the groups.
True. Yeah.
Many of them are one-offs, and a lot of times they're regular as well. I just love the fact that, like how I got introduced to Ruben Rodriguez was back when Our Wine was doing the jazz. Yes.
Went in, here's this guy with this huge smile plunking on the bass, and it was part of a trio. And the next week we go back, different trio, same bass player. Finally go back, third week in a row. It's the Ruben Rodriguez trio.
Right. Ruben and I were just reminiscing about the first time we played together. We remember it was for a high school graduation.
Really?
Many years ago. Yeah. Yeah, and that's when we first met, and Jim McKinney was on that gig. He kind of just put this group together and
playing the vibes.
Yeah. And he might have been on Kit actually that day.
Okay.
And Ruben and I exchanged some musical influences, and he started playing some Victor Wooten, Roy Wooten, like Bella Fleck kind of tunes that I knew and loved.
Right.
And I went, oh man, we're gonna
work together.
We're gonna work together. We're gonna have a fun chemistry.
Yeah. And you are sitting in the Dipsy Doodle production studio. I used to go wherever I could to record people. And Ruben was the first one ever to come to the house. And
no way. Wow.
And we didn't have this nice table. We didn't have a whole bunch of microphones, all that stuff now. But he won over my love with the fact that he brings in 2 bags from Giliberto's. And I said, Carrie is going to be so pleased. You have just become her best friend ever.
That's so wonderful.
I'm a Rodriguez. I know how to do tacos.
Yeah, it sounds like Ruben.
Yeah, he's just a kick in the pants. But, it's fun not just to see what people have in terms of their acumen for music around this community, but, the other things that they enjoy. And so would you call yourself a hat aficionado?
Oh, I think there's probably no question.
Yeah, I think you got to be up in that rank.
I think so.
I love hats, and I have spent some money on them in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But you are like King Kamehameha in this town of hats. Because you get a lot of custom fits.
I do.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, and I've spent a lot of time learning about them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes historically, sometimes how they're constructed, various materials. I've built about 3 on my own so far. I'd like to get better at that. And yeah.
Well, you want a subject?
Yeah, definitely, always. Yeah, I do.
I'd let you measure my melon.
Great. I'd like to get so much better at it. I got a guy in Belle Fourche who indicated he might be willing to spend a week kind of showing me some tricks of the trade.
Oh, wow.
Kind of learning the craft, a little bit of a, I'm going to call it an apprenticeship. But
workshop.
Let's call it a workshop. Yeah. Jack Scholl out at Weather Hats.
Okay.
In Belle Fourche. Yeah.
Tell me, have you counted the hats you have?
I used to keep really meticulous count
mm-hmm.
of them. And catalog them obsessively. I couldn't tell you a number today because I kind of,
how about
I sell them through eBay. I buy one and then I sell another one. And, so we're around 100.
Okay.
And we're talking fur felt brimmed hats or quality straw hats. Many of them are custom built. And
did you hear that, Carrie? He has over 100. We live in only 660 square foot, so I'm at about 20 probably.
They don't take up a lot of room, so
no, they don't.
There's always room for another.
Yeah, and you got to learn how to arrange them and so forth to make it all look cool. Do you feel better when you're wearing a hat and playing music?
I do. I don't know why. I feel like it kind of connects me to the past and to the future, and it's just kind of a fun aesthetic for me to go for. And sometimes there'll be bowlers, which is one of my favorite styles.
Really?
Sometimes fedoras, sometimes more Western, and sometimes straight up cowboy hats.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Because it was way too small for my melon, but my grandfather had a derby.
Oh, sure.
And I got that one year for my mom, well, long after he had passed. And it was like, man, this is just so cool, but could not make it fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Still beautiful, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Just a fantastic piece. But so that's always a fun thing. But, hobbies are so cool. And, I'm always interested because one of the questions I ask at the end is always, well, do you have any other hobbies?
Right.
And it quite often when it comes to musicians, especially such as yourself, freelancer, that they really don't have time for a hobby.
Right.
Because they're so busy with the music and just it's engulfed them.
Right.
Totally.
That can happen.
Yeah.
I think that's dangerous, really. I think you got to have room for other things.
Right.
And non-musical things. And if you want anything, if you want to maintain any perspective on why you're playing music, you got to not play music sometimes. You got to not really surround yourself with it.
You got to kind of hold off and get the thrill back.
Yeah. And just remember what life offers to experience.
It makes me think of the movie The Rookie.
Oh, sure.
With Dennis Quaid, and he plays Jimmy Morris, and he's about ready to quit. And then he walks past this Little League field, and the kid tips his hat and so forth. And the next morning he gets into the locker room and he says, Brooks, do you know what we get to do today? We get to play baseball.
Yeah.
I equate that to many things.
Right.
That,
what an inspiration.
What your love is, what's your passion. And just to go from there. But you obviously have a passion for music.
Yeah.
You mentioned classical piano and jazz, marching band, all of it. Is there one that sticks out more for you that you enjoy the most?
I think I'm supposed to say no, there isn't, but there actually is for me. And that's improvisatory music.
Oh, yeah.
So it's my favorite way to make use of musical languages is to come up with things on the spot, either alone or with other musicians. And for me, that's like just one of the most elevated things you can do with sound, with the musical languages, is create something right now. And it's based on the energy in the room and the energy of the other, musicians that are there with you. And you just create something every time. And for me, that's the best thing. That's the most satisfying thing to do.
At what point in your life did you figure out you had that ability to do that?
I guess I don't know if there was a particular point. I mean, I definitely spent so many years training and learning the theory languages and quite a lot about music history and different musical contexts around the world. And of course, I've had friends and colleagues go far, far deeper into all of those areas. But for me, I would compose, and non-classical music would often influence my compositions. And so I was always kind of creating since I was really young. And then I think I just started doing it with friends and things through high school and college, and just went, this is really fun. And we really embraced that. We really kind of tried all kinds of weird ways to twist our brains around, see what other ideas we could kind of come up with. And I remember one time I had a band in college, a trio called Unit 3, and we were piano, drums, and I played oboe and saxophone in it. And so there was no bass, and we used to get, well, how can you make music without a bass player? And, our response would be, well, like, you'll see, it's possible. It's not that far-fetched of an idea. And I remember we would do things like walk all night long. And then into the class where we were supposed to perform the next morning, just to see like what kind of, would they be more pure? Would we not be able to play our instruments at all? We just wanted to see like what our brains would do in that kind of a context. Yeah.
New meaning for read the room.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
What kind of crowd we have today? Well,
right, you're sort of delirious and going like, well, let's try this. I've never thought of this before. Why not? Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have a copy or the original of the first composition you ever wrote as I'm guessing a kid for you?
Yeah, I think I probably do. I kept a portfolio of that at my parents' house, and my mom recently sent it to me. So I do think I have some of those really early sketches.
Yeah.
Those
moms, they will save everything in this.
Yeah.
Won't they?
Yeah. It came in like a giant box, which was also filled with all of my kindergarten homework, and I didn't need that.
Mine was filled with all sorts of, he talks too much in class,
Sure.
Doesn't pay attention.
No, I was the quiet kid.
You were that
one. Yeah. And I think to a degree I still am. I like to listen more than I like to talk.
Right.
Yeah.
I find that especially that is such a key to when it comes to improvisation.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a point where when somebody else is playing and just going off on a part that they've never played it that way before, and they're jamming, and is there a point when to get back into that?
Yeah, I mean that's the hope, that you can feel it, and I think I think when you're playing with really high level musicians who are also listening and not being necessarily overly cerebral about it, you have to use some intuition as well. Yeah. Then yeah, it does happen where it just seems like this is the right thing to happen right now, and we all can sort of feel it. But it doesn't always happen that way.
So do you have a short list of if Jeff Paul were to put together the band that he would have for the rest of his life, if you could only put together one group, who's in it?
Everyone. I want to put everyone in it. I feel like I'm a little bit of a just to use the word polyglot, maybe. Like I'm a little bit of a musical polyglot, and I have a lot of influences, and like I just know and love so many heavy, deep musicians, and I want them all to be part of this group.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man. The other thing we need to tell people is we're neighbors.
Yeah.
We never really knew that.
I had no idea. I just walked down the street just a couple of blocks.
Yeah, it works out well. Doesn't it? All right. Tomorrow is the 4th of July. Are there any particular traditions or anything that you do?
Not for me personally.
Right.
I think I'm going to head up to Sisseton and maybe check out the powwow and see some friends up there.
Okay. Yeah.
But I do have a lot coming up.
Well, let's go through that list.
Yeah. So I'll be teaching at a composition academy in Spearfish next week. This is something I've been doing for 8 years or so, something like that.
Yeah.
I think we skipped the pandemic lockdown year, but it's always really wonderful to work with students. And at the end of the week, they've got a completed composition for either wind quintet or string quartet, 2 or 3 minutes long usually, and then the symphony wind quintet and string quartet will go back to all of their schools in the fall and sort of give the premiere performances of their pieces. So it's a really cool system.
Nice.
And it's beautiful, and just one of the greatest things I can experience, I think, in music. But after that, I'm particularly excited about a couple dates that I've got at Trio, July 23rd and July 24th, 2 consecutive nights of the Jeff Paul group.
All right.
And they're going to be different. Each night is going to be different personnel and a different kind of type of music, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So I'll have Brian Hannigan and Ruben Rodriguez and Al Bervin on the 23rd. And we're going to be doing mostly original stuff that's sort of jazz based, maybe organic improv based, maybe a little bit on the beautiful or esoteric sides, and kind of an exploration. And then on the 24th, my group will be with Joel Shotwell and Dalton Coffey and Andrew Reinhardt. And that will be my Americana crossover music kind of set. So totally different personnel, totally different kinds of improvising and playing.
Is Hannigan going to bring out the emu?
Oh, I hope so. The iwi?
Iwi.
Yeah. I hope he does.
I want to call it the emu.
Yeah, the emu. The iwi is basically the emu, just with fewer feathers, I think. I hope he does. Yeah, I hope he does.
Yeah, that's always an interesting instrument to hear.
Yeah.
Anything else that's big that's coming up?
I've got a couple of dates coming up with Corey and the Fireflies. It looks like we're playing on July 12th at Great Bear. I think we're...
Oh, is that part of that... the Palooza
Hit Bowl, whatever thing that they're doing.
Yeah, the Coolooza or whatever it is.
I think that's what they're calling it, something like that.
Yeah. I can't remember the title of it completely.
Yeah. So, things like that. And otherwise, this is my off season.
True.
Which I'm lucky and happy that I can fill it with these kinds of performances, but I also enjoy just walking around and getting out of town and doing some hiking and
well, and those spatial type gigs from let's do this occasion, that occasion, so forth. Kind of I always think something like that keeps the chops.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, because it's like, man, did I lose it?
Yeah, it's just as much about the chops in your brain as it is about your hands, fingers, embouchure, and everything like that too. Yeah.
There's a word that hasn't been used on this podcast before.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
embouchure?
Sure. Yeah. I don't think anybody's used that. You get it first.
All right. Well, there you have it.
And great to have you as a first-time guest.
Yeah, this is great, Dave. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And so again, one of the questions was any other hobbies, but and you've kind of already answered the first question, is when you are not involved in the arts and entertainment scene, what do you like to be entertained by?
Outside of that, for me, everything comes down to nature and people. I love people and I love nature and not always at the same time. But as much as possible, I try to immerse myself in beautiful places, national parks or whatever. I was recently up in Banff for a cousin's wedding and definitely made sure to have some time in those mountains too, just kind of taking it all in and yeah.
Excellent. Boy, it's been great getting to know you more.
This has been wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you.
I appreciate not just you taking the time for this, but also everything that you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. Get ready for another week of unforgettable live music at Trio Jazz Club, where the rhythm never stops. Tonight at 6:30, experience the smooth sounds of Jim McKinney and his vibraphone quartet. Saturday at 6:30 and 9 p.m., don't miss Gabriel Michael on electric guitar with his powerhouse band, The Enablers. The Haig Brothers bring their signature style to the stage Tuesday night at 6:30. And on Wednesday at 6:30, catch Ruben Rodriguez and the Syndicate for a night of bold, genre-blending grooves. Reserve your seat now at triojazzclub.com because the best nights start with great music.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get the extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony don't simply provide the service, they provide professional care for your hands and feet. Whether you just want the basics or you're looking for an extra special look with an added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails on Minnesota. Call for an appointment, 605-334-1463.
Never met a meal he didn't like. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Welcome back, everybody. Yes, it is always a pleasure to talk Soar Empire Arts and Entertainment. It's my passion, and I like to talk to other people about their passion. And finally, I get to talk to somebody that might actually have, well, he's got a better voice than I do to start with. But then he's also doing really well with that voice right now. Ralph Duke, how are you?
I am fine. How are you?
Excellent. It's great to finally have you. You know, it was one of those situations where we had become friends on Facebook, and then I'm instructing a class that probably everybody else was expecting a lot more out of.
No, it was a great class.
Oh, well, thank you. So had a voice acting class through the Premier Playhouse. And you were there, one of the first people to show up. And it's like, well, oh, my Lord. You know, and I guess I was looking at it more from, you know, when they said, we want you to teach some stuff about voice, that it would be more about, you know, getting people prepared for auditions and so forth. But it still worked in that regard for you.
And
yeah.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, there were quite a few that were there wanting to know more about getting into voiceover business and things along that line. So maybe that'll be round two. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and you could teach it.
I don't know. I've done plenty of training to that,
right.
But I do not think that I'm really instructor material right yet.
Good point. Yeah. In fact, I've had an instructor once tell me, you know, some people know how to do it. Some people know how to teach it.
Those who can't teach.
Yep,
yeah.
Exactly. But you have taken off ever since then. And
right.
But you've landed a few things.
Yeah.
And tell us what the big one is that has you most excited, that you go, wow, this is finally what I was supposed to do.
Well, I would like to say that it's a commercial, but
okay.
I haven't landed really any commercials yet.
Okay.
But commercials are really hard to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter really where you go. But right now, my passion right now is the live visual audio narration.
Right.
For the Premier Playhouse, for the Penguin Project. I just wish more people would show up and utilize that service. Because, I mean, it's fun. And they do special needs night or sensory friendly nights. And it's just, the atmosphere is great. I was there for 9 to 5 this last time. And nobody showed up to utilize me. So I sat there. I mean, we had to troubleshoot an issue beforehand. So I didn't get any feedback, but you know, it was still fun and it was a great performance. They're always great performances.
That they are at TPP.
You know, so.
So explain to people what you mean by doing the live action narration.
Really what I do is for the visually impaired, I sit back and I describe what's going on. You know, the scene, the background, the colors, this person is doing that. They're in the bullpen where there's one desk on the left, 3 on the right. People are sitting on desks. That kind of thing. And then, if somebody, they came off of a bench, they got down on their knees and they're begging for something and crying. And, then they roll over on their back and, you know, act like they're a cat or something like that, wanting their belly rubbed, you know, that kind of thing.
All improv on your part, or did you have a script to start with?
When we first started doing it, it was scripted. which is a pain in itself because, you got to have somebody go through and say, this is what's happening here. This is what's happening there. But this last one, I was just going to wing it. I was just going to say, okay, this is happening. Here we go. And just go to town. But I was given artistic license at that point. And it was like, go for it.
Yeah.
So.
And you went for it.
I went for it, but.
Did you feel better doing that performance then?
Had anybody gotten to listen? Yeah. I would have felt great about it because I show up usually 2 or 3 rehearsals before so I can get a feel for everything that's going on. I get the script so I can get all the character names and, what's happening in this scene, what's happening in that scene. And then just it makes you feel a little more comfortable. And it's all improv.
Yeah.
Which you never know that you can't really have a script in that situation because you don't know exactly what's going to happen. For example, I really got into it with the Penguin Project, which you are aware of.
Oh, very much so.
My son
never missed that thing.
Yeah, my son is involved in it. He gets up on stage. That's when I first started doing it, and of course, I was a stagehand. The first
Parents volunteer.
yeah. But at that point, when you're dealing with those type of actors, the actors that you never know what's going to happen, you can't really script that stuff. I remember for the Wizard of Oz that we did, there was one of them that just decided that she was going to walk across the stage and
say goodbye,
get a rousing applause from the crowd.
Yeah.
You can't really, and there she goes and she's waving to everybody.
Yeah. Well, see, you've been there and done that enough now that I can see where they should just, at this point, especially after hearing this interview, say, hey, let's give him artistic license from the beginning.
Yeah. And that's, as long as I have the script, I have an idea. I have the first, going up to that show, once I have a few rehearsals that I've seen, it's a lot easier.
Have you done any Shakespeare yet, though?
Not live.
Oh, okay.
I have recorded Shakespeare.
Okay. Getting that use of the language down.
Oh my Lord,
is tricky. Once you get it, you get it.
Yeah.
But getting there takes a little bit of a struggle, and it's one of those that he also has some names occasionally that you go, okay, is this like the Greek way that they would have said it, or is this like an English version? Yeah, always tough to tell.
That's that was basically something somebody wanted to do Hamlet, and they sent out, and it was for fun, which I'm okay with that too. And it's like, okay, Shakespeare, I've never done that. What part do you want me to play? Okay, we want you to play this one. Okay, so what voice would that guy have?
Yeah. All the thinking of, the backstory and so forth. And it's always important.
Every character has a story.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why I have you here. Another character that has a story.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're getting to know the Ralph Duke
story.
Boy, and I love the logo you came up with.
The
neon sign one?
Yeah.
I like that.
Now
that you hashed through it and found the one that you're really...
it started out flat. It had the colors that I wanted, kind of, but I really like that blue that pops.
Yep.
And it's more of a chrome look, a blue chrome. And, the tag for me is, I think fits really from grit to velvet.
Yeah.
You know, because I can do a little bit of everything.
All right. So tell us, aren't you involved in something where you are a regular now, using your voice acting skills?
I am actually in several audio dramas.
Right.
And those audio dramas, I haven't posted the last several, where there's a guy by the name of Louie, and he's a big doofus. for lack
Where does that fit in with the grit and velvet?
Hey, it's everywhere in between. So, I mean, hey, Mario, what are we doing today? You know, that kind of thing. And it's all from Tales of the Monster Hunters, and they go off and they hunt stuff. And I basically get to be a big goof on that one. But he just sent me the lines for another episode here coming up. So I have to get those done. But Louis doesn't talk a whole lot. He just, I mean, he brings
other vocal iterations are like,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. But I mean, I've been involved with, there's another one that I met through them that is handled by a guy that's over in England. And I sent him some stuff. They didn't know really what way they wanted to go with it. They wanted, okay, is this supposed to be a kid that's been really sheltered and spoiled, and he's in a trunk, and these guys open up the trunk, and here he goes, and he lambastes him a little bit. He's a little angry to start off with.
If I were in a trunk, I would be too.
Yeah. So I gave them like 3 or 4 different
reeds,
types of reeds. You know, here we got the nerdy little kid. Here we've got the jock. Here we've got the snooty guy, you know, and you know, I've been accused of actually using voice modulators or voice changers. And it's like, no. You don't have to do that.
No.
If you're good enough, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And me, I've been acting like an adult for so long that, you know, it's just, it comes natural to me that I can change stuff up.
Okay. So it comes naturally to you that you can do that. Was the voice natural? I mean, is that what got you started? When I was a sophomore in high school, I called up a friend on a Saturday night, said, hey, we're going to go downtown and ride around, have some fun. He says, who is this? I said, well, it's Dave. He says, man, you got a great voice. You ought to consider doing radio.
Yeah.
And so how did it, what planted the seed in your mind?
Well, when I was really young, I used to make voices, of course. Mm-hmm. It was back in the days of, oh, cooties. So,
you know, you got this little voice that you just, oh, cootie.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But, you know, and my principal at that point actually drew a picture of this cootie for me and said, you know, there you go. But I didn't really, it was just fun to me. Mm-hmm. I wasn't getting into it hardly at all. And of course, I got into IT, mm-hmm. and I've been doing IT for a long time. And of course, phone support, and you hear people,
right?
You know, you got a great voice.
Yeah.
Does the voice match the face? Right. That kind of thing. Yeah. You should be on radio. Okay, I get it. But I just never took it because IT was this is my preferred direction that I'm going. My field of study, my career. And then about 5 years ago, my wife said, you've been talking about it forever.
Do it.
And she gave me the old Spartan kick right in the butt.
Yeah.
Into the pit. And here's some training. Go do it. And that's what I did. And I've just been doing it ever since. The hardest thing that I have seen is actually finding people from this area. There's a bunch of them. They just kind of hide.
Right.
Unless you find that specific group. Yeah. But I mean, that's why my mentor, I hooked up with him. He's out of LA. He's a coach. He's been doing voice work for 40 years now. And he's been training me and getting me into different training sessions and stuff like that, and enhancing my skills and introducing me to others that, are working with me. And in fact, I just talked to him yesterday. I redid my commercial demo. I have a commercial and a narration demo from that first training that I did.
Right.
Which was part of the package deal. I got a mic and an interface, and, it was like
hung out in the closet.
Yeah. I built my closet, my booth. Yeah. And so I had those commercial demos and all that. The people that were training me, which are former talent agents themselves, owned agencies, used to be on screen, used to be behind the mic, used to do everything. They listened to my demo and they said, that was fine for where you were. That is not where you are now. That's the problem with demos. Mm-hmm. You do one, you outgrow it, you have to pay for another one, or
they are not inexpensive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, my mentor, he said, okay, we're going to work on a new one. And we had several spots, it comes out to a minute. And I mean, I did Lowe's, I did Chili's, I did Ram, NFL, and then my favorite beer, Dragon's Milk from New Holland Brewery.
Oh,
which is, I mean, if you're into stouts, that's it, huh? Yeah,
that's stout of stouts.
That's my jam.
Okay, I got to remember that.
It's an 11% alcohol beer, so it's a bourbon barrel stout. It'll
see bourbon. That's one of my favorite words.
Oh yeah, you might like that one.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
Just one or two, and you'll be fine. So anyway, I have that, which that was also in my original demo. It was just a different flavor.
Right.
Of it. So got that demo done. I was happy with it. Nick was happy with it. We sent it to, or I sent it to Linda and Joyce, these other icons. And he said, yeah, that one stinks. That one's really good. Yeah, that should be first. That one sounds like you're angry and yelling. That one, I don't think you were connected to it. And that one, it took me a little bit, but okay, then I had to research it, and that's a beer. Okay, I get it. So yeah, we had to redo a few of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's going to come out better in the long run.
True.
So apparently my sweet spot is Chili's baby back ribs.
Oh man, I love it. Love it. And congratulate you on how well you're doing with it. What's up next? I mean, you got a dream voiceover job, voice acting job that you want?
Oh, I would love to be in Pixar. Any Pixar flick. I mean, if John Goodman can be Sully, which for Halloween I dressed up as Sully one time. I think it went rather well until I broke out from the face paint. So yeah, it was bad that way, but the costume was great.
Yeah.
And
well, you look like a cosplay guy.
I could be. I just
haven't.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I have too much other stuff going on. But
understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had to drop a couple of things this year, so that's even with taking more time off from work.
Yeah. And I don't see myself getting anything Pixar for a while because, of course, it's like really difficult to get into.
Probably got to get a SAG card and everything else.
Most likely, which I don't think is going to be a big issue as long as it's that time. You see, I'm non-union right now, which is fine. My agents, I've got 3 agents that I work with, and they don't care that I'm non-union. That's fine. In fact, I just got another audition today from my agent out in Cincinnati. So it's another commercial.
Right.
I get to play and do my thing. But Pixar, if I could get in there, which of course I'm taking steps to get me to that point. And there's somebody else out in LA that, of course, Nick knows personally. He's worked with them, my mentor, Nick. But she has webinars where you can read for them. And she does anime and stuff like that. So I've read for her a couple of times. She's given me critiques. It's all good. She told everybody, go ahead and send character demos. I'll listen to them. It'll take me a while, but I'll listen to them. So that was back in May that I sent that. And it's the thing with VO. You send, you forget. And she sent me something yesterday. She said, would you ever consider flying out for a job? Because in the future, I'd really like to work with you. I'm like, okay, how should I respond to this?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, and that, that would be in the path of, growing to something bigger. It's baby steps. Everybody's journey is different. And mine just happens to be slowly going this way or that way. Or, who knows? I might squirrel and go over that way. So.
Well, no matter what, I wish you the best, and you are on your way.
Yeah.
I can tell you that you sound fantastic, and people recognize you now, and that's such a huge step. And everything you're doing with TPP to help out with the Penguin Project, that's just, I have a challenged nephew down in Nashville, and he's now in his 40s. But he was in a similar thing for music called the Music Miracle Choir, and all in need of special needs. Everybody that participated in that, they got to sing with Vince Gill. They got to sing with Brenda Lee to do the Christmas thing and everything. So that stuff means so much to them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's just incredible to see. And what I love now is because we've gone every year since the beginning, and to see some of the kids that come back each year and how they have progressed from year 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and now going to see what happens 3 to 4. So I'm very excited about seeing this one.
Yeah. My son always seems to go for, he's 12, by the way. He always seems to go for the lead roles. Okay. He doesn't have the attention span or really the he wants the part, but he doesn't want to do the work to have the part. So he doesn't get those lead roles, but he gets to be involved. And I mean, he's got a great voice.
Gee, where'd that come from?
He has been behind the mic a couple of times.
Okay.
So, I mean, he has had me find scripts for him to read. But, I mean, he sings. And believe it or not, we're a rock and roll household.
Oh, I wouldn't have been able to tell.
But
classic, though?
He'll sing just about anything.
Okay.
But, I mean, Motionless in White, some of the newer stuff. He'll sing Stained. He'll sing Godsmack, Fine Finger Death Punch. It doesn't matter if it's in his head.
Yeah, whatever.
If you hear it on the radio station, he'll sing it.
Gotcha.
And of course, my wife ends up, oh, it's time to take a shower. What do you want to listen to? And she'll play whatever he wants to listen to, and there'll be a duet in the bathroom. I can hear it in my booth. That's fine. It's just one of those things you don't record at that time.
Right.
But, it is great to hear that.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, my friend, it's getting time for us to wrap things up. It's 4th of July weekend. Is there anything in the Duke family that's a tradition for 4th of July?
Not really, although there's turning out to be. We are going to be going up to Aberdeen to visit family. So we used to go up there for Special Olympics because it was, bowling up there. But we're just going up there for family this time. So
good for you.
We've got
nice to have a break like that.
Yeah. So that's granted, it's a little bit of a trip, but it's not like we're going out to Wyoming to see my mom. That's a little bit more of a trip.
That would be.
Yeah, slightly.
Or going through the state of Kansas. Only done that a couple of times.
Yeah,
wow.
That's...
we have, yes, we have a lot of land up here in this area, but at least if you're going on I-80 or I-90, there's going to be a town, at most, it's going to be 13 miles.
Right.
Probably somewhere around 7. You get into Kansas, and you better have gas, because it might be 110 miles before you hit the next rest area. But at least they put the convenience stores and everything amongst that, so you can survive. But good Lord, because there's nothing even that keeps your eyes going, oh, we're only 92 miles away from it now.
You're looking at a guy who grew up in Wyoming.
Yeah.
So the thing is that with Wyoming, you've got the same thing. You've got distances, but you don't have just flat.
Yeah.
You've got, we're climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
Hey, there might be a bighorn sheep, but otherwise it's like 200 miles to the next city.
Yeah, very true.
Town, rest stop.
But hey, Taco John started there.
Yeah.
It was Taco Tuesday, so I had to have some. All right. First time guests always get 2 questions. How you answer the first might depend on whether we ask the second one. But the first one is, when you're not part of the arts and entertainment scene, what do you like to be entertained by?
Well, either I play games, watch shows with my wife. We're into the Criminal Minds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it always keeps you on your toes. And either that or I'm in my booth recording.
Yeah. So that means that we don't have to ask the second one, any other hobbies?
I don't have time for hobbies.
Yep, because people don't have time. They're busy with their passion. But I thank you for your passion. And I appreciate you stopping by and being on the show, man.
Well, thank you for having me.
You bet. And have a safe and happy holiday.
Of course.
All right.
10 fingers, 10 toes.
I only have 9 on the bottom. And we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XL Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or xlchiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XL Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
He's jazzed to the eyeballs. Once again, here's Dave Hawley. Crikey, mate.
Thanks again to my great guests, Jeff Paul and Ralph Duke. Thank you for listening. Not only for the listening, but also your support of local arts in the Sioux Empire. Now, if you're a first-time listener, take some time, head over to DaveHollyHour.com. Every one of these 281 episodes is available anytime. And we look forward to hearing from you as well. Happy 4th of July, have fun, and be safe. I encourage you to find your art. Find the art you enjoy, find the art you're interested in trying, and we'll see you in the arts. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Art South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, my name is Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club, Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. Stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. All episodes available anytime at DaveHollyHour.com. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.